morning dear students, welcome to my channel Pediatric Classes. Today we are going to discuss about an important topic both in theory and also in practicals, pneumonia. So how we are going to go about with this? Suppose you are given a case of pneumonia, so how are you going to answer the questions which are posed to you by the examiner? What are things you should be documenting in your case sheets and how to go on with the viva voce. So I'll just post the case scenario just after this to go through it. So as you can see from the case scenario, here we have a baby. This child is having a cough, this child is having cold, and there is also increased respiratory distress. So what is respiratory distress? If there is increased work of breathing. So what is work of breathing? Work of breathing means either there is increased respiratory rate. Respiratory rate, we have to know how much is normal, how much is abnormal. An easier way to remember is, just remember according to the ARI control program, that less than 2 months old baby, any rate more than or equal to 60 is taken as abnormal. 2 months to 12 months, it is more than or equal to 50 is abnormal. 12 months to 5 years, more than or equal to 40 is taken as abnormal. So it is 60, 50, 40. Less than 2 months, 2 months to 1 year, and 1 to 5 years. So this has to be remembered very clearly because a very frequently asked question. Then what is that? We have to look for whether there is any chest indrawing. Chest indrawing means it can be a lower chest indrawing like a subcostal or an intercostal retractions. Then we have to also see how is the chest expansion, whether the chest is expanding properly. We may have to see whether the baby is having a cyanosis or not. Cyanosis indicates a hypoxia. So all this point by point we need to remember. What is pneumonia? Pneumonia is nothing but the infection of the lung parenchyma. So here another question which can be posed to you by the examiner will be, what are the types of pneumonia? So here we should tell that there are different types of pneumonia classified according to the location and also according to the etiology. So according to the location of it, you can say it is either lobar pneumonia or a bronchopneumonia or an interstitial pneumonia. Whereas according to the etiological classification, we can say we can broadly divide as infections, number 1. Number 2, it can be related to some aspiration. Like aspiration means it may be an aspiration of the food or oil or kerosene that happens after kerosene aspiration. Or another thing is secondary to some ascariasis. Okay, and some etiology is unknown. Coming to the infectious causes, it can be broadly divided as viral, bacterial, atypical, and others. So what are the viral causes? It can be respiratory syncytial virus, adenovirus, influenza virus, parainfluenza virus, etc. And coming to the bacterial causes, we have gram-negative organisms causing pneumonia, we have gram-positive organisms. So this all depends on the age. Very important, please remember, less than 2 months, gram-negative and gram-positive organisms can cause pneumonia. So gram-negative means it is E. coli, Klebsiella, etc. Gram-positive means Staphylococcus, Pneumococcus, etc. 3 months to 3 years, the organisms which are causing pneumonia include Streptococcus pneumoniae, H. influenza, Staphylococcus. Whereas beyond the age of 3 years, the incidence of H. influenza is reduced. So whereas the atypical organism causing a pneumonia include Chlamydia trachomatis and also Mycoplasma. In certain situations such as immunocompromised and all, we even get a pneumonia caused by certain organism. Rarely, but this organism can cause the disease in immunocompromised patients like Pseudomonas cerevisiae, histoplasmosis, coccidioidomycosis, etc. So the organism classification also we should be thorough, and also the anatomical classification also we should be thorough with the pneumonia. So this is about the classification. So when you ask the history or in a case of pneumonia, certain negative histories also you may need to ask. Okay, here one thing we are already asked about, how is the risk of, how is the onset, duration, how is the progression. We are asked about any increased work of breathing in the form of respiratory distress or chest indrawing. We are asking for any abnormal sounds, that is grunting we are meaning. And then we are also asking whether the child is looking dusky in color, that is for to rule out any cyanosis. The neonatal history, it's very important. What is the weight of the baby? If it is a low birth weight baby, it is more risk. It's one of the risk factors for pneumonia. Other than that, higher advanced age, other than that advanced birth order, then we need to specifically ask an important thing which we should not miss, that is the history of passive smoking. If there is any smoker like father or someone in the house who is smoking and the baby is getting, this more is not only of asthma but also in case of pneumonia, the passive smoking is found to be a risk factor. So history of passive smoking, then any history of overcrowding, any air pollution, all this can be a risk factor in case of pneumonia. There are so many other risk factors like severe malnutrition, vitamin A deficiencies, lack of breastfeeding, family history of bronchitis, etc. So the risk factors of pneumonia is another important question you can expect. What are the organisms which can cause a pneumatococcus? Please remember, it is staphylococci, always everybody will say, but also Klebsiella. Even E. coli can cause a pneumatococcus, but the most common organism is staphylococci. Coming to the discussion of the pneumonia pertaining to the certain organisms, certain things like Streptococcus pneumonia, always remember, rusty sputum, it is Streptococcus pneumonia. Then if you get a thin bloodstream sputum and all, even Streptococci is a possible thing. Another important question which we can expect in this discussion will be, what are the complications of pneumonia? Complications of pneumonia, you have to say, to a respiratory distress, empyema, then that is pus in the pleural cavity. It can have a pyoneumothorax, it can cause a pericarditis, it can cause a pleural wall thickening, and even metastatic abscesses. The metastatic abscess is very common with Streptococci actually. And another important thing is about meningitis. If it is an H influenza pneumonia, we can expect a complication of meningitis if not properly treated. Polyarthritis is another complication. So the complications of pneumonia is yet another important question we should be clear about. Coming to the treatment aspect of it, when we discuss the treatment of Streptococcus pneumoniae, that is our pneumococci, the treatment antibiotic therapy, it is mostly we go for penicillin B 250 mg 8 hourly, or we can go for procaine penicillin for 0.6 million units daily for 7 days. If you are going for an oral thing, it is none other than plain amoxicillin with or without clavulanic acid. Amoxicillin dose will be 40 mg per kg per day for 7 days. So this is about Streptococcus pneumoniae. Almost the same thing is for group B Streptococci. We go for procaine penicillin, or we go for penicillin B, or we can go for amoxicillin. But there is a difference in the treatment modality for staphylococci. As I have already told you, staphylococci more risk of pneumatococcus and all, more risk of empyema, pericarditis. If in a smaller child less than 2 years you get an empyema, the first and the foremost diagnosis is Staphylococcus pneumonia. So, the treatment of staphylococcal pneumonia is co-amoxiclav, or we can consider the combination of cloxacillin plus any third generation cephalosporin like ceftriaxone. But here, if there is no response within 48 hours, consider a change of antibiotic to vancomycin or ticaplanin or linezolid. Then the duration of treatment also differs. I told you initially in Streptococcus pneumonia we are giving around 7 days, whereas in case of Staphylococcus pneumonia, in case if it is a non-complicated thing, we have to give for 2 weeks, and if it is a complicated thing, we may even have to go up to 4 or 6 weeks of antibiotic therapies. So that is in short about Staphylococcal pneumonia. If somebody is telling us a history of in a very small baby there is pneumonia, but in the neonatal period there is neonatal conjunctivitis. One of the causative organism we should remember is Chlamydia trachomatis. Okay, coming to the atypical pneumonia. Atypical pneumonia, what we always say is there won't be much signs on examination, but the X-ray will be bad. So atypical organism, the most common organism is Mycoplasma. Here it is very uncommon in less than 4 years of age children. Mostly we see it as an interstitial pneumonia. Okay, the treatment of atypical pneumonia, we have to include macrolides, that is clarithromycin or erythromycin or azithromycin, etc. We can also consider tetracycline for the treatment of atypical pneumonia. But mostly we favor macrolides actually. So coming to the gram-negative organisms, I told you gram-negative organisms is very common in less than 2 months old children. We have to give an antibiotic coverage which will also cover for the gram-negative thing. So the treatment of choice with cefotaxime or ceftriaxone plus or minus amino glycoside, or you can go for ceftazidime or piperazine tazobactam. So I repeat, in gram-negative we are actually adding ceftriaxone plus or minus an amino glycoside. Ceftriaxone doses we have to remember it is 75 to 100 milligram per kg per day. This we need to give for around 10 to 14 days of life. The more risk of bacteremia and all are there in a smaller children as compared to an bigger children. And another thing is about viral pneumonia, which we already discussed. Etiologies: RSV, adenovirus, influenza, para-influenza, etc. More risk of interstitial pneumonia is there. I think I have discussed in short about the treatment and the complication. And very common thing is about the ARI control program. I want all my students to be very thorough with the ARI control program. It is a very helpful tool. Most the WHO has advised to use that tool for countries where the infant mortality is more than 4 per 1000. So here the newer division is divided as only 3, that is either cough cold, fast breathing pneumonia with or without chest indrawing, and severe pneumonia. It's very simple, only 3. Okay, previously in the park, if you see previous old editions of UC are all 4, but now it's only 3. So cough and cold, fast breathing pneumonia with or without chest indrawing, and finally a severe pneumonia. So cough and cold means there is no fast indrawing, there is no signs of severe disease. Such a patient can be managed at home. It is not pneumonia actually. So whereas the second category is fast breathing pneumonia with or without chest indrawing. Remember here fast breathing means I already told initially less than 2 months, 2 months to 1 year, 1 to 5 years the definitions, but it is 60, 50 and 40. More than that it will be abnormal. The ARI control program is slightly different for children less than 2 months and then 2 months to 5 years of age. I am first discussing about 2 months to 5 years of age. So here the second part is fast breathing pneumonia with or without chest indrawing. So if fast breathing is that chest indrawing means that is lower chest indrawing. There is no hypoxia there. Such a patient should be managed with amoxicillin 40 mg per kg per dose bi-daily for 7 days. But if there is a lower chest syndrome with hypoxia, that comes under the severe pneumonia. So what is a severe pneumonia? In 2 months to 5-year-old children is there is lower chest syndrome with hypoxia, there is cyanosis, severe respiratory distress, the baby is unable to feed or lethargic, unconscious, seizures, etc. The treatment will be benzathine penicillin, IM or IV, or ampicillin plus gentamicin. As a second line, we should consider the use of ceftriaxone. So in a baby less than 2 months of age, the baby is having high fever more than 38 degrees Celsius, tachypnea more than 60 per minute, there is chest indrawing, there is cyanosis, grunting, severe respiratory distress, the baby is unable to feed, the baby is having abnormal sensorium, seizures, any distended abdomen, apnea, everything is considered as a severe pneumonia. So there are 2 categories mainly in ARI, that is 2 months to 5 years and less than 2 months. Less than 2 months, more risk of bacteremia. So everything, if the baby is having tachypnea with a fever, with all the above mentioned things, considered as severe pneumonia. What are the vaccinations which can help you in preventing a pneumonia? So Streptococcus pneumoniae vaccine, that is pneumococcal vaccines we can give, H influenza we can give, then measles, because measles can have measles pneumonia as a complication, so measles vaccine can protect the child. Then influenza, yearly influenza vaccine can protect or prevent the child from getting a pneumonia because of influenza. Then chickenpox vaccine, because streptococcus streptococcal pneumonia can come as a complication to chickenpox, as a complication to pertussis or measles, etc. So if vaccines to prevent all this measles, chickenpox, pertussis, all can have a beneficial effect of preventing the pneumonia in a child. So coming to our case scenario, 3-year-old child brought to OPD with complaints of cough for 7 days, fever for 5 days and breathing difficulty for 2 days, unable to feed since morning. Examination is a lethargic child, febrile, respiratory rate of 48, intercostal and subcostal retractions present and auscultation crepitations. So such types of case scenarios will be given for your exams. So once you write the case history, you have to write in detail about cough, how is the onset, progression, duration, how is the fever, what type of fever, whether it is getting relieved with medications, how often it is recurring, and about the breathing difficulty, how often it is there, how was the progression, and also that unable to feed history I have written. So once you put all these things, and also in the risk factor category, again whatever risk factors which we have mentioned earlier, the correct negative histories if required should be asked and documented. And Going on to the respiratory system examination, the case sheet writing and some other video I will put on with detailed elaboration of how to go on with the writing of the respiratory system in detail. This child is a lethargic child with tachypnea, with intercostal and subcostal retractions and auscultation crepitations. So if it is pneumonia, this is a case of pneumonia because there is fever, cough, then there is difficulty of breathing for the last 2 days, and auscultation, it is crepitations. So here, what grade? So as you can see from here, it is a fast breathing is there, retractions are there. There is also a category of severe pneumonia, that is unable to feed. With this baby will go into the diagnosis of a severe pneumonia. Examiner may ask you what are the investigations you will do for this case. Please go in an order. Tell this first. I'll do a CBC. I'll go and see how the total count is. How is the total count? What is the differential count? Whether it is a viral or a bacterial. Then I'll go and see the ESR, a CRP, and chest X-ray, where I'll be able to see the densities. And also I will be looking carefully for any pneumatocysts also. And also I will see if there are any effusions seen in the chest X-ray. And coming to the treatment of it, I have already mentioned we can go for benzylpenicillin, IM or IV, or Ambigenda. Then as a second line we can go for ceftriaxone. This is according to the WHO guidelines. We can actually modify the treatment according to the organisms. So I request all my viewers to prepare the notes, prepare the questions in such a way that so that when the examiner asks you the question, it becomes very easy for you to give the answers. Hope you all like this class. If so, please do like and subscribe. Thank you and stay safe.